We are now moving on to solving the following absolute value equation. So we'll be working on 3 different scenarios with absolute value equations, which the first example problem is just a basic absolute value equation. We don't have anything in front of absolute value bars or behind it, and we only have a variable on one side. So this is the most straightforward absolute value kind of problem we're going to solve. So when we solve absolute value problems, we need to think about what absolute value bars do to a number. So if we want absolute value to equal 12, we need to think about what could go inside of absolute value to give us a 12, which there are 2 possible scenarios that will give us a 12. We could put a positive 12 in absolute value bars, and it would give us positive 12, which is what we're looking for. We could also put a negative 12 in absolute value bars because, remember, absolute value basically turns everything positive, or negative 12 is 12 spaces to 0 on your number line. So this will also give you a positive 12, which is what we're looking for. So technically, right in here, this x plus 8, if it equaled 12 or negative 12, it would give us a 12. So whenever you solve absolute value, you're going to have 2 equations that you're going to be solving every single time. And the way that we're going to be doing this, okay, I usually like to split my work up into 2 sections to make it nice and neat. We are neat and organized mathematicians. Alright, so on one side, okay, what you're going to do, you're going to drop the absolute value bars, and we could say that x plus 8 could technically equal positive 12, which would give us 12. So I'm going to say x plus 8 could equal 12 on one side, and we just solve that bad boy for x, and bam, it'll give us our answer that we're looking for. Or on the other side, so we could put or, this scenario would work as well, I could say that x plus 8, so this x plus 8 could also equal a negative 12 and still give us a 12. So I could say x plus 8 equals negative 12. So basically, when you guys are solving absolute value, all you need to remember, you drop absolute value bars. On one side, you set it equal to whatever it already equals. On the other side, again, you drop the absolute value bars. You set it equal to the opposite of this number, which is negative 12. That's kind of the shortcut, if you're looking for a shortcut to solve. Alright, so when you solve absolute value, every single time you should get 2 answers. Every single time. So let's get going. Alright, and then you just solve this like you would normally solve an equation. So on this one, to get x by itself, since I have a positive 8, the way we move that bad boy to the other side is by subtracting 8 on both sides. Alright, and 12 minus 8 will give us a 4. So on this side, we get x could equal 4. So that's one of my answers, but we're not going to circle it yet, and I'm going to explain why in just a moment. You'll have to wait and be patient. So now we're going to solve for the other value that x could be. So to make positive 8 move to the other side, the opposite of positive 8 is a negative 8. So I'm going to subtract that bad boy to the other side. Alright, and negative 12 minus 8 more will give us a negative 20. So on this side, we're going to say that x could also be negative 20. Now, before we circle our answers, whenever you solve absolute value equations, you must always check your answers. Sometimes these answers, when you substitute them back into your original problem, will not give you the answer you're looking for. They're like sneaky little ninjas. They act like they're answers, but they're not. And if we ever see that one of these answers does not work when we check, that is called an extraneous solution. Extraneous. Alright, so now we're going to move on to checking our answers. We always check with absolute value. Alright, so on one side we're going to check when x equals 4, which again I'm going to draw my little line to keep it organized. So the first time I'm going to check when x equals 4. And the second time I'm going to check to see if x equals negative 20 works. Alright, so all you do when you check, you simply go back to the original problem. So we're going to be looking back to here when we check. Okay, and I'm going to just substitute my answers in for x, and when we take the absolute value of what we get in here, we should get positive 12 for our answer if it is actually a solution. So let's see what happens. Alright, so from up here, we're going to substitute in 4 for our x. So all I'm going to do, I'm just going to replace this x right here with a 4. Alright, and our goal is to get 12 when we get done. If we don't get 12, that bad boy is called an extraneous solution, so be on the lookout. Alright, so when we do 4 plus 8, we get 12. And whenever we take absolute value of a number, bam, it turns it positive. So this will be 12 equals 12. And we did, in fact, get the right answer. Yay! So now I can go back up here and circle my answer. X equals 4 is definitely one of my answers. Heck yes. Alright, so now let's move on to our other problem. So again, we're going to be substituting in negative 20 for this x, and our goal is to get 12 when we get done. So let's see what happens. So all I'm doing is I'm replacing this x with a negative 20. So I'm just going to write negative 20 in its place. Okay guys, let's see if we get the right answer. Our goal is to get 12 when we get done. So let's see what magical things will happen. Alright, so negative 20 plus 8, that will give me a negative 12. Alright, and let's see if we get 12 when we get done. So, the absolute value of negative 12, bam, is a positive 12, which is in fact the answer we were looking for. So negative 20 is also an answer. So both of these are going to be answers. None of them are extraneous, which makes us happy. Yay! They're both happy. Alright guys, and that is it for this problem. Have fun solving example 2.